In the quiet town of Millbrook, nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, stood a Walmart. It was an ordinary superstore, bustling with activity during the day, but eerily silent at night. For years, rumors swirled around about strange occurrences within its walls, but most dismissed them as the product of overactive imaginations. One rainy evening, as the storm clouds gathered overhead, a young woman named Sarah found herself wandering through the aisles of the Millbrook Walmart. She had been searching for a particular brand of shampoo when she stumbled upon an old dusty shelf tucked away in the corner of the store. Curiosity piqued. She approached it, her footsteps echoing in the empty aisles. As Sarah reached out to grab a bottle of shampoo, she froze. Reflected in the mirror-like surface of the bottle, she saw something move behind her. Whipping around, she saw nothing but the dimly lit aisles stretching out before her. Shrugging off the feeling of unease, Sarah continued her search, but the sense of being watched lingered. Suddenly, she heard a faint whisper, barely audible over the sound of the rain outside. It seemed to be coming from the darkness at the edge of the aisle. Heart pounding, Sarah crept forward, her footsteps barely making a sound. As she rounded the corner, she saw it. A figure hunched over, its back to her, muttering incomprehensible words under its breath. Frozen in fear, Sarah watched as the figure slowly turned its head, revealing a grotesque, twisted face. Its eyes gleamed in the darkness, filled with a hunger that sent shivers down her spine. Without a second thought, Sarah turned and ran, her screams echoing through the empty store. Behind her, she heard the sound of footsteps, quickening with each passing moment. Desperate to escape, she raced towards the exit, the pounding rain providing a cacophonous backdrop to her terror. Just as she'd reached the doors, they slammed shut with a deafening crash, trapping her inside with whatever horror lurked within the store. As Sarah stood frozen in terror, she heard a low guttural growl emanating from the darkness behind her. Slowly, she turned to face the source of the sound, her heart pounding in her chest. Before her stood a creature unlike anything she had ever seen. Its skin was pale and mottled, stretched tight over its emaciated frame. Long, gnarled fingers reached out towards her, their nails sharpened to deadly points. With a cry of horror, Sarah stumbled backwards, her mind reeling with disbelief. This couldn't be happening. It was impossible. But as the creature lunged towards her, its mouth gaping wide in a silent scream, Sarah knew that this was no mere hallucination. She was face to face with true evil, and it hungered for her soul, summoning every ounce of courage she possessed. Sarah turned and fled deeper into the store, her footsteps echoing in the empty aisles. Behind her, the creature pursued relentlessly, its unearthly howls echoing through the darkness. As she ran, Sarah's mind raced with questions. What was this creature? Where had it come from? And most importantly, how could she escape its clutches? But with each passing moment, the answers seemed to slip further from her grasp. All she could do was run, hoping against hope that she would find a way out before it was too late. As Sarah raced through the aisles, her breath coming in ragged gasps, she stumbled upon a sight that made her blood run cold. In the center of the store, surrounded by flickering fluorescent lights, stood a circle of figures, their faces obscured by shadows. In the center of the circle lay a creature unlike any she had ever seen. Its body was twisted and contorted, its limbs elongated and misshapen. And yet, despite its monstrous appearance, there was something undeniably human about its eyes, something that sent a chill down Sarah's spine. As she watched in horror, the figures began to chant in unison, their voices rising and falling in a macabre melody. And with each passing moment, the creature seemed to grow stronger, its form pulsating with an otherworldly energy. Realization dawned on Sarah like a bolt of lightning. These people, these cultists, were responsible for unleashing the creature upon the unsuspecting town of Millbrook. And now, she was trapped in their twisted ritual, with no hope of escape. But even as despair threatened to consume her, Sarah refused to give up. With a newfound determination, she turned and fled, her footsteps echoing through the empty store. As Sarah raced towards the exit, her mind raced with thoughts of survival. She knew that if she didn't find a way out soon, she would be lost forever to the darkness that lurked within the store. But just as she reached the doors, they slammed shut with a deafening crash, sealing her fate. Desperate, she pounded on the glass, screaming for help, but her cries went unanswered. But instead of cowering in fear, Sarah stood her ground. She had faced her darkest fears and emerged stronger for it. And now she was ready to fight. With a defiant cry, she charged towards the creature, her fists flying with a fury born of desperation. Blow after blow rained down upon its twisted form, but still it advanced, its hunger undiminished. But Sarah refused to back down. With every ounce of strength she possessed, she fought against the darkness, determined to protect her home and her loved ones from its insatiable hunger. And as the first light of dawn broke through the storm clouds overhead, Sarah delivered the final blow, sending the creature crashing to the ground in a heap of twisted limbs and shattered dreams. As she stood victorious amidst the wreckage of the store, Sarah knew that the battle was far from over. But with courage and determination, she would face whatever horrors awaited her, secure in the knowledge that she would never again be a victim of the darkness that lurked within the aisles of Walmart. With the dawn came a sense of eerie calm, the storm clouds dissipating overhead as if fleeing from the scene of the battle. Sarah stood amidst the wreckage of the Walmart, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she surveyed the aftermath of the night's events. The creature lay motionless at her feet, its twisted form a grim reminder of the horrors she had faced. But even as she looked upon it, Sarah felt a pang of sympathy for the thing that had once been human, a victim of the darkness that had consumed it. As she turned to leave, Sarah knew that the town of Millbrook would never be the same. The events of that night would haunt its residents for years to come, a grim reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of their seemingly ordinary lives. But amidst the chaos and destruction, there was hope. For Sarah had faced her darkest fears and emerged victorious, proving that even in the face of unimaginable horror, the human spirit could prevail. And as she walked away from the ruins of the Walmart, Sarah knew that she would never forget the lessons she had learned that night. For in the end, it was not the darkness that defined her, but the light that shone from within.